Hello and welcome to This Week in 23 Sports. I'm your host, Eleanor Sheahan, and I am here to catch you up on everything you need to know about Mizzou sports.
Welcome to This Week in 23 Sports, your premier University of Missouri sports update show.
This past weekend, Missouri baseball hosted the Georgia Bulldogs. Missouri started off the season strong on Friday. The Tigers took an early 3-0 lead in the fourth inning. In the fifth inning, the Georgia Bulldogs finally got their first hit of the game and drove in a run to make it 3-1. Missouri continued to dominate in the sixth. Trey Morris drove in another 2 runs for the Tigers, making it a 5-1 ball game. The Bulldogs, however, were still fighting for this game. In the top of the ninth, Georgia scored 3 more runs, tightening the score to a 4-6. Luckily, though, Missouri's Connor Ash was able to strike out the last batter, and Missouri won the first game of the series 6-4. Then on Saturday, Missouri was again able to claim an early lead in the second, but this time Georgia responded a lot quicker. The Tigers and the Bulldogs continued to go back and forth throughout the entire game until the Tigers were losing 5-4 in the bottom of the ninth. Looking to push this game into extra innings, the Tigers dropped a fly ball right into right field, which allowed a run to score. This sent the game into extra innings. But despite the comeback in the ninth, Missouri lost to Georgia 7-5 after the Bulldogs scored 2 runs off a triple. So for the last game of the series on Sunday, the Bulldogs took the lead in the first inning by scoring 4 runs right off the bat. Missouri tagged in a run in the second and 2 runs in the third, but the Bulldogs were relentless and scored another 4 runs in the sixth. Georgia won the game 9-4 and took the series 2-1. So after losing 2 games in a row to Georgia, Missouri baseball will look for its win. Was looking for a win on Tuesday when it visited Kansas State Wildcats. But the Wildcats had other plans for the Tigers. K-State scored 5 runs in the first. Missouri was able to respond with 4 runs of their own in the third, but the Wildcats were on fire. They continued to drive in multiple runs in almost every inning for the rest of the game. In the end, Kansas State was victorious with a 13-8 win over Mizzou. The Tigers will look to break their 3-game losing streak against Alabama starting on Friday. Heading over to Mizzou softball traveled to Arkansas last weekend. In a game 1 of the series, the Razorbacks started off strong by driving 3 runs in the bottom of the first. Luckily for Mizzou, those were the only runs the Razorbacks scored. Mizzou came back from a 3-0 deficit and scored 6 unanswered runs through the rest of the game. The Tigers won Saturday's game 6-3. The big break for the Tigers came during the second game of this series on Sunday. Though the game was tied 1-1 after the second, Mizzou scored 9 unanswered runs over the last 5 innings. The freshman pitcher Laura Krings absolutely froze Arkansas. She went 5 innings with 5 strikeouts, no hits, no walks, and just 1 base runner. Teammate Brooke Wilmis also had an outstanding game with multiple base hits, but then her monster grand slam that she absolutely destroyed over center field in the 6th inning. The Tigers beat the Razorbacks 10-1. So for the last game of the series on Monday, the tides turned, and Arkansas was able to compete with Missouri for this game. Arkansas scored 4 runs in the first and 2 in the second, giving them a 6-run lead after the first 2 innings. Looking for a comeback, Missouri managed to drive in 4 runs in the fourth to make it a 6-4 ball game. However, Mizzou was unable to pick up any more runs, while Arkansas got 1 in the fourth and in the fifth. Missouri lost Game 3 with a score of 8-4, but Mizzou still won the series against Arkansas 2-1. This was a great series for Mizzou softball. Softball will host number 3 Florida this weekend beginning on Friday at 6:30. Make sure to check them out. Meanwhile, Mizzou's track and field just competed in the Drake Relays and won 3 different event titles at this meet. Mizzou's Mitch Weber won the men's discus event. Weber is currently ranked 3rd in the nation with a 60.91 meter mark. Sophomore Morgan O'Neill became the first ever female for Mizzou to win the 400 hurdles at this meet as well. Other impressive Tigers include Jordan McClendon finishing 2nd in the hammer throw and Ava Curry placing 2nd as well in the javelin throw. Track and field will head to Kansas Invitational on Friday. A lot more stuff is coming up. And finally, after competing in 3 days of tournament play, men's golf ended their SEC play. In the opening round, Missouri's Roy Franson got his 60th round under par with a 2 under 68. This was his spring best finish, and he tied for 20th place. Overall, the Tigers finished 13th with a score of 887. Up next, the NCAA Men's Golf Selection Show is on Wednesday, May 5th. So we head into this weekend. Make sure to catch up on baseball, softball, track, all coming out here for spring sports. Join me back here next Thursday for more This Week in 23 Sports. I'm Eleanor Sheahan. Have a great weekend, Tigers.